Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I would like to quickly introduce myself. I'm Intan Putri Ayuni, and the topic of my presentation is gender differences in self-determination, motivation to learn English. And the purpose of my presentation is to investigate the students' self-determination motivation in learning English on the basis of the gender. And I have divided my presentation into four main parts. Here's the outline of my presentation. I will start with the introduction about importance of the motivation to good learning achievement based on male and female uh, gender. And second, I will explain about self-determination motivation theory. Then I will discuss participant, the study methodology, and finally, I will give the findings and discussion. My presentation will take about 15 minutes, and I'd be glad to answer the question at the end of my presentation. To start with, first of all, I will explain descriptive quantitative research. The participants of the study were 839. Student consists of 369 male students and 470 female students. And the questionnaire of the self determination motivation to learning was applied in collecting of the data. The result of the data analysis revealed that the students different on the basis of gender. In general, the male students were significantly higher in a motivation than the female students. So this presentation aims to find out gender differences, students' self-determination motivation to learn English. Motivation is one of the key factors can be influence student factors. Without sufficient motivation, even the most extraordinary ability cannot long-term goals. Really motivated students have mental machines that characterize willingness, effort, and how to student enjoy assignment. And work that a mixture of all three is needed. Establish meaning of the motivation uh, one in 1 second or foreign language. Now let's move to the next point is like to make is self-determination motivation theory. One of the motivation is self-determination theory proposed by Desi and Rian. It focuses in the extent to which individuals can exert control over their environment. This theory categorizes the motivation into intrinsic motivation, extrinsic motivation, and amotivation. Intrinsic motivation refers to reason for L2 learning in order to experience pleasure and satisfaction in which the activity is undertaken because the spontaneous motivation, uh, what is associated with it. Three types of intrinsic motivation have been suggested, namely intrinsic knowledge, intrinsic accomplishment, and intrinsic simulation. Four types of the extrinsic motivation are external motivation, introjected motivation, regulation, identified regulation, and integrated regulation. The third is a motivation. It refers to a lack of motivation resulting from realizing that there is no point. Let's move to the next point is the participant of the study of methodology. The participants of this study were 839 students, 369 male students, and 470 female students. From 6 junior high school in Makassar that became selected schools to implement curriculum 2013 for junior high school in Indonesia. And finally, let's move on to the last point, which is findings and discussion. Okay, the study revealed that male students on average had higher motivation, experienced feeling of inadequacy and powerlessness when faced with activities learn English than the calculated average female students. However, the difference was not significant only in external regulation as one of the external subtypes. Self-determination motivation, male students were significantly higher than female students. Interestingly, although male students have higher extrinsic motivation, in identified regulation, female students have higher than male students. In intrinsic motivation, female students on average have a higher than average male insignificant difference was calculated. When intrinsic motivation is high, students are considered autonomous or self-determined in pursuit or of doing something. He found that women are more motivated oriented than men in foreign language communication and affiliation and self-efficacy learning. Okay, I can finally say that in conclusion, this study investigated that female students of junior secondary schools in Makassar, Indonesia, were more self-determined in pursuing to learn English comparing with the male students. And now, I welcome to your question. Does anyone have any question? Yes, please. What? Could you go over that question again, please? Oh, okay, I got it. So I repeat again about category of motivation. There are intrinsic motivation, extrinsic motivation, and emotion. Yes. Does that answer your question? Okay, thank you, Mister. There is any question for someone else? Yes, please. Oh, I'm afraid that's not my off study. Probably Mr. Jack could help. me with the question. Thank you. Okay, any more question? Okay, if there are no more questions, I will close this presentation. That's all the time of I have for today. Thank you for your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.